Hey guys, my name's Ryan and welcome to Overwatch Central and another gameplay hero analysis. Today we are going over the new tank D.Va, but we're not going to go over her lore or her basic abilities and stuff like that. We're going to delve a little bit deeper and talk about how to play D.Va once she comes out and what you should be bearing in mind when doing so. The footage you are seeing is not us but a friend of ours called TacticalKoala. You can find all his details in the description below, and I would definitely suggest checking this guy out. He's a fantastic streamer, knows plenty about the game, and he's been around in the Overwatch community for some time, so definitely check him out. But onto the footage. Providing an extra bit of insight into D.Va again is Miska. So first and foremost, I guess we should start from the beginning. What kind of tank would she be? I mean, we've got a lot of tanks already and they've all got their sort of different twist on it. Would she be more offensive and more of a problematic tank like a Winston? More of an off tank like Azalea, like supporting everybody else and making sure they've got shields? Or quite a defensive hero with offensive capabilities like a Reinhardt?
If you look at the current tanks, you'll notice that 2 tanks have movement abilities and 2 don't. The 2 tanks with movement abilities, Reinhardt and Winston, are able to quickly move themselves onto a point or charge/jump at a group of enemies, while Azalea and Roadhog push enemies back successively and are able to deal a lot of damage with short-ranged weapons. D.Va's boosters allow her to quickly get around the map, bypass choke points, and even give her a bit of flanking potential. Her defensive matrix can block projectiles, and the ult can prevent an entire team from capturing a control point or jumping on a payload last second. A very versatile and meta-changing hero overall.
Right, so you've said meta-changing. What is the meta at the moment? I mean, you can obviously see that D.Va's going to give heroes like Pharah a really hard time. So, with like those 2 things in mind, what other heroes is D.Va strong against, and how will she change the meta?
So, like I said, she can negate abilities like Pharah's Rocket Barrage with the unlimited AoE damage block that D.Va has. And since she can move around whilst using Defense Matrix, she's a great help when pushing through choke points. Players will have to think about positioning and target prioritizing a lot more than before. On top of that, all of a sudden you need to look out for a tank hero up high. D.Va will be able to position herself on parts of the map other tanks have a hard time reaching or just simply can't get to. She also has ranged weapons that work well on short range, and because of this, she's able to fly around an objective and occasionally land to deal damage, even if she isn't always up close like the other tanks. Her survivability is fantastic because of this. So she can get into a fight, deal a bit of damage, block projectiles coming in to help her team get onto a point or something, and then fly out, heal up, and rinse and repeat.
We've said that, like, obviously D.Va's going to be very strong against a Pharah, but that's not really meta-changing. The meta isn't really in favour of Pharah so much, but what kind of other heroes is D.Va a good hard counter to, if any?
She's not necessarily a hard counter against one specific hero. Pharah is an example that's brought up a lot just because she's very popular right now in beta. She's strong, even the devs have said that she does maybe deal a little bit too much damage with her rockets, and the rocket barrage can be devastating at times. But D.Va can deal with these defensive lineups and these setups of bastions and tourbillons and just people in the back bombarding a point or a payload, and she can help her team push through that. And that is what changes everything so much, because these heroes that can just position themselves on one point of the map and just spam their weapon like a Junkrat or Pharah, whatever really, even a sniper, they have to actually move around and get to other positions of the map to be able to counter this, and they have to get around D.Va and make sure to strike right as they're flanked so it comes as a surprise to the tank. Since she can harass but still has a lot of survivability, you need to really deal with her first. She's not a hero that you can just overlook. You need to get her out of her mech so you don't have to think about the defense matrix and so on.
Yeah, as I like to look at her, she's kind of like if Reaper was a tank. That sort of element of being able to get around the enemy defenses quite easily, like Reaper has his Wraith form and teleporting. D.Va could just fly in there and get behind those enemies. Kind of like Winston as well, that you can just sort of leap to a sniper and there's very little that they can do. But every class, every hero has their pros and cons. What would you say D.Va's weaknesses are? Stuff that other tanking classes can do that she cannot? And what kind of heroes can take advantage of that?
Her biggest weakness is how exposed she is when jumping into a fight. When she fires her fusion cannons, her mech slows down substantially and she's easy to hit and even headshot. And since she can't block damage or heal, you can easily overwhelm her and force her to fly away to survive, which is kind of a win if they're trying to push a point you're defending, but again, it gives her a bit of time to heal up, so you need to make sure to actually kill her at some point. But this is also the reason as to why she was given a self-destruct ability. When she is outnumbered at close range, she can eject from her mech and run away to safety and watch as all the enemies who didn't get out in time are just obliterated by the massive damage and radius of the mech explosion. So make sure to kill D.Va as soon as she's out of her mech. Don't let her get away and call in a new one.
So on that subject of her losing a mech, let's assume that you've just lost your mech for whatever reason, it's sort of been killed off or you've blown it up, but your counter's at 0. What do you think is the best way to reclaim it? Would you sort of hide away and wait for the ultimate to sort of tick over? Or would you still try and get involved and get a few kills with the rest of your team?
In this case, I would hang back behind a second tank or stay in the back of your entire team. Whenever you see an easy target, then just start shooting at them, not with the intention to kill, but the intention to just charge your ultimate. Your ult is charged very quickly when out of the mech and even charges slowly over time, so you really don't need a lot of damage to reach 100% and call in a new mech.
It's really nice that there's this whole sort of like risk-reward with D.Va. You can sort of get yourself more into fights, but you run the risk of dying and having to wait for a mech. But if you do it right, you get a new mech, you're straight in the game again.
Exactly. You just always need to think about having an escape route when actually self-destructing, or in the case that your mech will die when you got yourself into the fight.
So finally, what sort of closing thoughts do you think you need to bear in mind when playing D.Va, and what should your main objective focus be?
Helping your team push and harassing the enemy is very important. You can charge your ult by taking damage, so even if you aren't getting all of the eliminations and final blows, you'll still have enough ultimate charge to self-destruct on top of a control point. It's obvious that this will be amazing for defending a point, even if most of your team is dead. But you can also use it to clear an area in which a Torbjorn or Bastion have set up in. You have many options when playing D.Va, so be sure to make the most use out of all of her abilities.
Cheers, Miska, and that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching Overwatch Central, and thank you for helping us hit 1,000 subs. We kind of blasted straight through it this weekend, but thank you so much. We're hoping to take it in our stride. We've got a My video hopefully going out soon, a Genji one, another Central combos going out this week, and a top 5, so be sure to subscribe to keep up to date with all that, and any other information that comes out regarding beta and stuff like that. Until then, we will see you next time, and take care.